G'day cocktail lovers, how are you? I hope you're keeping well. I decided to mix things up a little for no particular reason, make some cocktails in the garden. So you're going to get a little bit of the ambiance of the neighborhood birds and who knows what else as I make these, and we'll soon find out if this was a good idea or a bad idea for me to do this outside. But I also, hey, you know, day drinking, let's be honest, we're all doing it, so I'm going to take advantage of the day and make a couple cocktails. Now, I'm going to make a few themed cocktails in this video, and they're all about chartreuse. When you look on, if you're like me, you look on, what do people mark today? What is today the day of? There are official days of, and there are very unofficial days of that people declare, usually for marketing purposes. And the rather clever marketing people in Chartreuse decided that the 16th of May is World Chartreuse Day. And they do this because the legend of their beverage goes back to a recipe that is reputed to have been first put together in 1605. Now, the famous monks who make the drink chartreuse didn't start making it till the 1700s, but that 1605 is core to the chartreuse history, and hence 16th of the 5th is Chartreuse Day. Chartreuse is incidentally one of those drinks that is only made in one place. You don't get different brands of chartreuse. It has to be made in this particular distillery by these particular monks. Now, a lot of people don't know much about chartreuse, don't know if they should try it. It's a very herbal liqueur. There are lots of herbal liqueurs out there. This one has its own profile. Most commonly, you'll see Green Chartreuse, which is usually 55% alcohol, so 110 proof. So a little bit of caution there. It's not a lightweight. There's also a yellow chartreuse that's usually lighter alcohol by volume, around 45%. It's also, in my experience, much harder to get yellow chartreuse than it is to get green chartreuse. So I'm going to be making drinks with green chartreuse today. Two very chartreuse forward ones, as in chartreuse is one of the main flavors in there, and one where it's just given its own little touch to the cocktail, which is the one I'm going to make first. It's called the Greenpoint. It's essentially a variation on a Manhattan. Manhattan given a little bit of a herbal tinge. So I'll mix that one up first. We start off with an ounce and a half, 45 mils of rye whiskey, and just 15 mils of a red vermouth. I'm using an Australian vermouth, Maiden Eye, their classic vermouth, but yeah, a Rosso Vermouth as they're known, whichever one is to your taste or you have on hand. So 15 mils in there. And we'll also be adding 15 mils of the green chartreuse. We'll add a dash of Angostura bitters to our mixing glass, maybe a dash of orange bitters if you have that on hand, and then we stir that down. Stir for about 30 seconds, just a little bit of dilution in the drink and to get it nice and chilled. We strain that into a chilled coupe glass, or whatever glass you'd like to serve it in. And there we have the Greenpoint. Let's give it a little taste. It's got this really bright flavour to it. If you like a Manhattan, this is a tiny variation. The herbal notes that this adds over the top of a classic Manhattan, this is a really good drink. Next up, a tropical style drink, this one with much more chartreuse in it. 45 mils in fact, an ounce and a half. So that's our first component. The recipe I found from the chartreuse webpage called for 45 mils of pineapple juice and 45 mils of coconut milk, which is what I was going to do, and I set up and realized I don't have any coconut milk, but I do have pineapple coconut juice that I quite like, and so to the horror of purists everywhere, instead of 45 mils of each, I'm going to put 90 mils of this mixed juice in. All of that in our cocktail shaker with some big chunks of ice in there, and I've added about a bar spoon of sweetener. Again, the recipe I saw said Orgeat, which is an almond-based sweetener. You could use simple syrup. I'm using an agave syrup. Whatever you like, something that's going to go well with a tropical flavour, and we give that a good shake. Strain that into a coupe glass again. and we have a Chartreuse Emerald Swizzle. Very nice bright colour in that one, and we filed this one under Dangerous because it tastes like a herbal tropical punch. And like I said, Chartreuse, 55% alcohol, so if it tricks you into thinking there isn't a shot and a half in here, which is essentially like 2 shots of vodka, you could find yourself in all sorts of trouble if you're down a couple of these. The last cocktail I'm going to make is a variation on a gin sour they call Green Eyes, starting with 45 mils of gin. I happen to be using an Australian gin that I picked up recently from the Tiny Bear distillery, a little sample pack I got. This is their one, the Gypsy. This is a bit spicier than the average gin. They've put some Australian botanicals in there to give it a little bit extra zing. So I'm going to start with 45 mils of this. Next comes 30 mils of the Chartreuse, which is just about going to finish my Chartreuse. So I guess my task for Chartreuse Day might be to buy another bottle. We're also going to add 30 mils of fresh lime juice in there, and we'll finish off with an egg white, half an egg white. They're saying just a dash, or if you're a vegan, you can actually substitute chickpea water, also known as aquafaba, 15 mils of that, and that's going to give this a really nice body. I'm going to do a reverse dry shake on this. That's 1 shake with ice, and then take the ice out and shake it again to get a really good foam going from the emulsified egg. And once more, I'm straining this into a coupe glass, and we get that nice foam on top from the egg white, the Green Eyes. The limes really come through in that. I normally use lemon juice if I'm making a sour, but it's a really nice contrast with the gin, the lime juice, and the herbal elements from the Chartreuse. Again, don't let the lime juice fool you. This is not a juice we're drinking. This is fairly serious. So there you have it. 3 different Chartreuse cocktails showing you can use it in quite diverse ways, and that's really the tip of the iceberg. So if you've never tried Chartreuse, maybe this 1605 World Chartreuse Day is the time to do it. I'd love to hear if you've got your own Chartreuse recipes, or if you try it for the first time, what you think of it. But until next time, I'll leave you by saying cheers.